Hey guys, and welcome to or back to the Pause in Pursuit podcast with your host, Summer Clark. Today I have yet another, how lucky are you guys, very special guest on the podcast. I'm going to be speaking to Pau Serratusa. Again, probably not pronouncing that very well, but I tried. We're going to be speaking all about Pau's experience representing Team Spain for many years and how he switches between his different dogs of different breeds and heights so seamlessly and gets so many cool results with them. But before we get into the episode and he answers your guys' questions, let me give you a little life update / weekly debrief. So I can't even remember, where we were at last week. So a week ago today, yeah, that's it. So tomorrow, a week ago today, I was just about to go to Ogilvy 5 to 7 to do some last minute GB tryout prep. Because the second weekend of GB tryouts, has just gone last weekend. So honestly, guys, for a week now, I have not been right. I have felt sick. I have felt just that deep sense of nausea just every time, just random pangs of nausea throughout the day. I've had hot sweats, which is absolutely vile when you wake up just sweating for no apparent reason. And I've just felt quite spaced out, a little bit dizzy, a little bit faint, a little bit up in the clouds. I don't know what's occurring. It's not a really obvious illness, and it's not like it's an illness where I'm like, I have to stay in bed. But when you just like, something's not right, just not right. I'm just not on it. Like my head's not there, if that makes sense. Just don't know what's going on, but I'm assuming I picked something up at Crufts. So that's been happening. And to be honest, Arrow's not right either. You guys probably saw my post, and I'm thinking he also picked up something from Crufts. We went to Ogilvy last Thursday, and again, neither of us, I just wasn't kind of there, if that makes sense. He did some good stuff, to be fair, but just the both of us were just a little bit feeling meh, off the back of Crufts. I knew I'd pick something up, but thought, what, it'll be fine. It'll go. I'll wake up and it'll be fine. Fun fact, it's not. It's still there. So we had that on Thursday. To be fair, I was pleased with Arrow. It was literally I think 2 tiny little faults throughout the day. But I just didn't feel on it at all because of this, whatever this illness is. But I was happy with it going into the tryout weekend. And then obviously we had the tryout weekend. Now I think back, Arrow was a bit quiet on Friday. I took him for his walk, and he did not want to run about. He didn't want to run. He stayed close, which if you know Arrow, he does not do that. He likes to run off and, just charge around me basically. And he was just trotting by the side of me. And I was like, that's a bit strange, very odd. Didn't think too much of it. Anyway, GB tryout weekend happened. And I'm going to be honest, guys, it wasn't our finest weekend. Like I said, competing with whatever on earth I had was never going to be fun, but what are you going to do? We had to power through. And Arrow did feel uncharacteristically clingy and pulled off a handful of jumps that I usually wouldn't have to support as closely as I had to this weekend. And they happened on course, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Normally I have to pull him off jumps that are in front of him, but he pulled off them. It was bizarre. But, I never know which version of him I'm going to get until I release him off the start line. So I always have to be ready to adapt. And with me not feeling great either, it was just kind of a lose-lose. Neither of us were really on it. He knows when I'm not feeling 100%, and he does reflect that as well in how he runs, meaning I have to be pretty perfect if we're going to get round, and I wasn't feeling pretty perfect at the weekend. Still don't, but it's just one of those things. I kind of thought, he's just doing that because he can tell I'm not 100%. But then the following day, he was really not right. So Monday, it's now Wednesday. Monday, he was really lethargic and his poos were not good. And he was a bit shaky, and he just was looking really sorry for himself. So I think he's also picked something up from Crufts. Because like I said, Friday he wasn't right either, now I think about it. And he's a lot brighter now. 2 days later, he's still not 100%. So we're missing training today because of that, even though he's a little bit brighter, not going to make him do agility if he's got something, especially off the back of this weekend. And we both probably need the rest of the week off, to be fair, to get over whatever we've got. But he's definitely picked something up, bless him. I've had a few people message me because I put it on social media saying that their dogs have similar symptoms. or, you know, had similar symptoms last week after Crufts, some that didn't even go to Crufts, so whether there's just a dog stomach bug going around. But Crufts is a breeding ground, isn't it? Not only for dogs, but for us as well. So we've both obviously picked something up and come back with it. So yeah, I did feel that affected our tryouts, to be honest. But despite that, he did give me some awesome work, including a jumping with the third fastest time, but just a pole. And I did overwork that jumpy knock to stop him from landing in a very enticing tunnel trap, so I have no regrets. He also nailed all 3 seesaws, which I didn't overwork, as he was stopping short a lot post-Crufts. So if anyone knows Arrow, I have to do, you know, yes, I have to make him get his criteria, but if he starts stopping really short, that means I've overworked it a bit and he's overthinking it, if that makes sense. So sometimes I have to let him kind of release quicker. You know, most of the time I proper hold it. Sometimes I release him pretty much as soon as he's got it, as long as he's got it, if that makes sense. And he kept all the walls up, so I'll take those as wins. But yeah, now we have a good couple of weeks off to get ourselves better, whatever we've got, and ready for the season ahead, because it all kicks off very soon, doesn't it? Which is super exciting. So that is pretty much our weekly recap. We will find out soon. It will be announced the Team GB for this year, so fingers crossed we've done enough. But yeah, we've done all we can do, and now my priority is just to get myself and Arrow better, because we have lots and lots of things coming up now the season is kicking off, which is very exciting. But that's my little kind of weekly debrief for you all. I hope all your guys' dogs are okay post Crufts, and you as well, because like I said, it is a breeding ground, isn't it? But anyway, that is the stressful period between mid-Feb, mid-March over and done with. 2 lots of tryouts and Crufts done and dusted, and time to get into the season. So without further ado, I will let you all listen to my amazing conversation with Pau. I hope you guys enjoy it just as much as I did. The first thing then that I always ask all of my guests on my podcast is just briefly explain who you are. So introduce yourself, who you are and what you do, how long you've been in agility, all sorts of those things.
Okay, so I'm Pau Serrano. I'm so happy to be here. I do agility from since I was 10 years old, so let's say 22 years, something like that.
Oh, wow.
I started in Ibiza when I was living there, and now I do agility here in Zaragoza from, since I was 18. So,
A long time.
Long time. And I was representing Spain also so many years, I think, in the World Champs, for 6-7 years, and also for World Agility Open more than 10 years.
Oh, wow. Funnily enough as well, I started agility when I was also 10, so we have that in common.
Okay, that's good.
That's crazy. So I imagine you've seen agility change quite a lot then over the past 22 years. I can imagine how much it's changed in that time.
Yeah, when I started with 10 years, I just started with a boxer. So I went there because let's say he didn't behave that good with dogs.
Yeah, okay.
So I had to go there to make some obedience and to teach him to behave and all of that. And then I saw agility, and after that, I just get in love with the sport, and I stayed there all my afternoons after the school, going there to train with my dog, with other dogs, and with other people. And after that, that's why I started to give classes and all of that.
Yeah, it usually starts doing more obedience stuff like that, and then you see it, don't you? And you think, oh, that looks fun, and the rest is history.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely. Okay, so the first question from my listeners then is, how do you transfer so seamlessly from one height and breed of dog to another? Because you do seem to run quite a few different dogs.
Yeah, I love that, because it's really, really different to run with the small dogs. Even with the 3 small dogs that I'm running now, my wife's walkers and also my Sheltie, even with them are so different. But to change from different heights and different core seats, for me, it's something that I love, because you have to really put on pressure all your mind and all your body, how to use it inside the chorus and everything. And I really love that. And of course, I think the first time that I did it was harder, but nowadays I think it's something I do it even a bit natural, changing from one dog to the other. So it's all about also about experience and about competing and training with them and with so many dogs. I did it when even when I started that I was not doing agility even with my boxer. I just took other dogs from my club that they were doing agility, and I was starting with them. So I'm
Okay.
used to from the first day to do agility with different dogs.
Okay, that's a good skill to have because I think some people that only have one dog, it's very difficult, isn't it, when you then get a second and you have to transfer between both, especially when they're so different.
Yeah, true. And
Mm.
I also have like this kind of challenge that I love when I'm judging to
Mhm.
take a dog that it's not mine
Mhm.
and to run one of my courses, and I do it
Mm.
pretty often, and
Mhm.
I love that also. So yeah, I'm used to change dogs that are even not mine or my wife's
Mm.
dogs.
Yeah, because you've got some dogs from different heights. I think all the heights, haven't you? I've seen you run large dogs, and then obviously your medium, and then smalls as well.
Yeah, right now that I'm running tryouts, I'm
Mhm.
running small, medium, and intermediate. This year, I'm not running large
Okay.
because I had to, let's say, choose because yeah, I have 8 dogs because my wife is pregnant now, so
Okay.
I'm competing with their dogs also.
Mm.
And the first tryout, it was the same time, large and small, and I'm running 3 dogs in small, so I decided to not run large this
Mm.
year. Um, but yeah, I run all the sizes.
No, that's a very impressive skill for sure. So, for someone that's not as good as that at doing that as you, then, what is your best piece of advice to improve on their ability to change between dogs? Is there anything specific they can do, or is it more just an experience and time kind of thing?
I think it's, of course, it's both, but the best thing is to understand your dog. You
Yes,
have to
yeah.
really, really study your dog, how he needs help, like for sanding, or how he needs help for turning, or how
Mm,
he needs help for what he's not that good on agility, and
mm,
that's probably where you need to help them.
mm,
So you have to really understand how your dog is, and after that, try to help them. Because
mm,
I don't think it's about like to change from small to medium or to medium to intermediate. Because, for example, my intermediate dog, she's even better turning than some of my small dogs. So
mm.
I think it's something more about understanding your dog.
Yeah, more because they're also different, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm,
And even in medium, you can see it. Like there could be like dogs that are super tight and they don't have that much independence, and others that are more like crazy going, more
mm-hmm,
independent and less tighter. So
mm.
you have to really care about the dog you have.
Yeah, 100%. So, how do you make sure that you and your dogs peak for WAO, EO, and AWC in the same year? Because that's quite a few, that's 3 events in 1 year to be at your best for, and you do try out for all of them, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's something a bit hard.
Mm,
But I took it like, okay, let's say we have World Agility Open at the same, almost at the same time that tryouts. So I take World Agility Open like a part of our tryouts.
mm-hmm,
And also normally when I'm running VAO, I'm running more runs than I do in European Open or
mm,
in the World Champs. So I took it a bit in the same line. So probably in tryouts. I'm training a bit more the months before that I'm doing like for World Champs or European
mm,
Open. I try like for European Open and World Champs to let them be a bit more free and not be that, let's say, technical, or let's
okay,
say a bit more controlled.
mm-hmm,
So probably for tryouts and World Agility Open, and yeah, I'm training a bit more, getting a bit more control, so they
mm-hmm,
are like a bit more um, connected in everything I'm doing. And
mm-hmm,
probably for EO and even more for EO than World Champs, I try like to let them a bit more free. And also even I'm training different. I try to train for EO a bit more speed. So as you know, there is like only individual runs.
mm-hmm,
To be qualified for the finals,
mm-hmm,
and also the final, it's only one run, so you need a bit more like speed and a
mm-hmm,
bit more power. So that's something I try to do in training also. I
mm,
try to train a bit more speed and a bit more sending skills, and
mm-hmm,
also uh, a bit more let them free
yeah,
to. that they understand that they can run a bit more. So
Yeah.
that's how probably I train for that.
Whereas AWC, the courses are quite tight, aren't they? So I suppose across all three events, all the courses are quite different. So you've just got to know what you're training for in the build-up, I suppose, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure. And even for world champs, we are always training a bit more tight because you know that it's going to be more tight. Even it's the same rules. You know that at EO that normally the courses can be a bit bigger,
Yeah.
and there is like uh, let's say a bit more free for distances and everything. You train a bit different than for world champs for sure.
Do you find it difficult to peak your dog's fitness for all three events throughout the year? And fitting breaks in and stuff like that? Do you have kind of a set schedule now that you stick to?
Yeah, I think it's a bit hard because there is not that much time to rest, and I think it's something super important.
Yeah.
Um, and and it's also the same with tryouts. Like for example, we had tryouts not last weekend, the weekend before, and all this week I just let them without training because I think they really need it to stay 1 week without training. Of course, they go for walks and everything, but without going into the course. And also now I need to start training. Today I will train with them a bit, and I start like to get them back. But for example, from the second tryout to the third, we have only. 1 week and we have Gotor in the middle, so there's not even 2 weeks. So it's hard for them like to let them rest also.
Yeah, I suppose they're used to it though, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure they used to, and but also last year, for example, Break had an injury in the World Agility Open, and I don't think it's all about like trainings, but it's also about the stress that we put in the competitions, that they had like tryouts, and then you go for the World Agility Open, and then you have also here the Spanish Championship that is in May, and also after that you have the European Open and everything. So there's so many things, and it's hard to balance all of that. So that's how right now I'm trying to balance it, to always let them rest.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
After good competitions.
Yeah, because I think the rest thing, it's almost the boring bit, but it's so important, and you can't do the rest without it. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have more dogs because I have dogs to train and the other can rest. So that's good.
Exactly. Yeah. If like me, you have one dog, then if that dog's resting, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's the annoying thing. So, do you think being an agility instructor helps you to be a better handler and competitor? Because you also teach agility, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's my life. Like I teach all days, and I also make online courses, and I also judge and for sure compete. So I think all of that give you experience and give you like the feeling like to how to see when the dog is gonna fail, when the dog is gonna make some things that you can cover. So yeah, for sure it helps.
I think as well, when you're spectating, you see more of what's going on than when you're actually running. So I think by interacting and working with so many dogs that aren't yours, you see other handlers doing things, potentially making mistakes, and then you can relate it to your own performance, I think, a lot of the time.
Yeah, for sure. The one of the problems sometimes is that you teach, you judge, and you compete, and then also you train for yourself. So it's I think you really need someone that is helping you, even you're doing everything to train, because when you're inside, you cannot see as much as you see from outside.
Yes.
So I have really good luck that I have good teachers in my club, but for sure my wife that is helping me always. So it's easier like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think if you're an agility instructor, you have more time to train your own dogs and more time for yourself, and it's just not the case, is it? You actually end up having less time because you're teaching everyone else's dogs instead.
Yeah, for sure, and also like it's the same about like when you're traveling, you don't have that much time to train with them, and also after giving classes all day, it's not that easy to go to train sometimes. If you have the motivation, it's good, but sometimes it's like, okay, you're tired and you don't want to be in the same place like for all day, so you want to go out or whatever, and it's not that easy to train after huge days of giving classes.
Yeah, I think when you make something your entire life, I think it's important you still get time away, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I do it always. Like I love paddle, and I love all the sports. So I love NBA. I'm looking at NBA always, and I love football. And sometimes I go with my friends to play football. But of course, I do so much paddle with my friends. Like today, I'm going in the afternoon to play with them, and I think it's something really good to go out a bit of your job, and also your it's my passion, so it's always good to go out a bit sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Got to have a bit of everything, haven't you? So,
Yeah.
do you have any strategies for coping with the pressure of competing for your country? So, the mental side of it, then, how do you personally cope with pressure? Because it is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's let's say it was one of the hardest thing for me when I started to compete for the teams. I think because it's not the same as about when it's individual. Because when it's individual, it's only for you,
Yeah.
and also representing your country. But it's like if you fail, you're not failing, not that. Not that much when you're failing with a team after you, and also with representing your team. So I think what it was one of the hardest thing, but I think the most important about it is to have a really good relation with your teams. Also have a really good like feeling before and after going to the runs. Doesn't matter if you fail, or doesn't matter if you think that you didn't give you didn't take everything you think you give. So I think it's something you have to really train, and also something that that in competitions, in that big competitions, you have to take a bit more, like seeing it a bit more global. So it's not about if what happens if you're gonna fail, or what happens if you're gonna make it. It's all about like thinking, okay, that's something I really dream to make. So I'm gonna enjoy about it, and I'm gonna give everything. And if I give everything, doesn't matter what happened.
Yeah, you really need to remember that, don't you? Because you can get so swept up in the results, and it ends up ruining it. And often, the more stressed you go in, the worse you perform. So you've got to really try and control that, but it is hard.
Yeah, and also I think it's a bit about the pressure. You have to take it like as something good, because I took it, let's say, like for so many years I took it like as something that I had to do, and something that 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 even my family will be like not so happy when I'm failing or whatever. And I think it's almost the opposite. Like if you take it a bit more like, okay, I'm really happy about what I'm doing, and I'm sure that the people that love me, they're gonna be happy about what I'm doing. It's easier to take that pressure. And also uh, you have to think, and you have to understand that it's gonna be even easier that you fail than you make it. So if you fail, it's not something. It's not that everything is gonna fail. It's not something that. It's not. Let's say that it's not happening anything if you're gonna fail. So you have to really take it a bit more like that. And I'm enjoying much more right now that I understand that. And I think it's also with experience, because before I remember, like every time I went to the World Champs, I enjoy it, but if I didn't make a clean run, I was a bit not upset, but I was not for like a week. I was not really happy. And right now I'm taking it like the opposite. Like for me, the results doesn't matter that much when I'm failing, and it really gives me power when I'm doing it. So right now it's let's say that it's not. Uh, I'm not giving that much importance to the results right now. So and I'm enjoying more, and I think I'm even winning more. So
Yeah.
that's probably how I got it.
Yeah, that is how it works, isn't it? The less stressed you are, the better you perform. And it is
Yeah.
hard, but I think once that clicks, you see yourself start doing better anyway. And it's interesting you said about the people around you, because I think the people around us, they just want us to be doing something we enjoy anyway. And our results don't matter to them as much as we think they do,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
and because I was, yeah, my dream was always to win a world champs,
Yeah.
and let's say that I I had in mind like that the people that I love, they will, let's say that they will not be, um, yeah, they will not think that I'm enjoying it that much when I'm not doing it. But
Yes, yeah.
after I won it this year in teams, for example, I saw that it was, let's say, almost the same. Like, of
Yes,
course, yeah,
exactly.
we will be super happy, and they were super happy. But I think they were more happy that I was just enjoying everything
Yeah.
than winning the
Yeah.
what I was dreaming. So
Mm.
I think it's just to understand that.
Yeah, and it's having a bit of perspective as well, isn't it? And realizing it's agility, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't go right, and it'll probably go right next time, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
And also, like, keep the passion even you're thinking that, because sometimes it's like, okay, it's not gonna end the world if you're not making it,
Yeah.
but also you have to keep the passion, because
Mm.
uh, sometimes people even go out of agility because of that, or out of the sport. Just
Mm.
it's not about agility, but that's probably the hardest part, like
Mm.
giving the importance that it has, and not giving the importance that it has also.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, on that note, then, speaking about perceived failure, how do you bounce back after a failure or setback if it does happen? Or, say, if you have a string of bad results for whatever reason?
Yeah, that's something that I learned in the last years, that I really, when I go out of the course, the first thing I do is like to reward my dog. I'm not thinking about what I do inside the course.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I always think, okay, I did this wrong, or I did this in a bad position, or I was not moving as much as I had to do, or
Mm-hmm.
I was running more than I had to run.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I completely changed my mind. I don't
Mm.
think about what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start to get into my next dog.
Mm.
And I think I'm being better right now, because I have to do it like really in. In 5 minutes, like in
Mm.
these tryouts that I had, okay, I disqualified with Nairobic, for example, and in 10 minutes I have to run with
Mm.
Adrenalina. And
Yeah.
you really have to not think about what happened before, because if you're thinking about what happened before, it doesn't matter if you make a clean run or if you disqualify, because if
Mm.
you make a clean run, probably you're not giving that much importance to everything, so you can
Mm.
even fail because you think, okay, I can do it without effort.
Yes,
And
yeah.
also disqualifying because you're thinking, okay, I need to put too much pressure on that place, and then you
Mm.
lose the other.
Yeah.
So just it's just about like, okay, I understand my dog like that. I think I did the coursework like that because my dog needs this and this and this, and then after that, just go and do it.
Yeah.
But don't think that much about what you did before.
I think that's probably even more important when you've got several dogs, when you've got to come back straight away, potentially even like 10 minutes after, and run another dog and get into that whole different mindset from scratch. I think that's even harder than when you just have one, obviously.
Yeah, but it's even hard to do it with one, because, for
Mm.
example, I remember last tryouts that with Adrenalina in the first tryouts, I did like one refusal in the first round, one
Mm-hmm.
refusal in the second, one refusal in the third, and then I had like in mind all the time, like, okay, one refusal, and I did 6 runs, five with one refusal and one clean run.
Yeah.
So it's something like it can block you, so
Mm.
you have to really good effort about not
Mm.
thinking about what you were doing before. And um, and that's and it's something you're gonna win with experience also.
Mm.
I had that, and then in the next tryout, when I changed the weekend and when I changed my mind, and when I was like helping her be more in the situations that I
Mm-hmm.
know she was more unsure, then I
Mm.
made 6 clean runs in a row. So
Yeah.
that's something you really need to understand it
Yeah.
and use it when you have to use it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And even if you just do have one dog on the team, for example, agility is a sport where we're going to have, 3 or 4 runs or even 5 a day. So, you have to just erase the last one if it goes right or wrong and just concentrate on the next one. And it's easier said than done, but it's definitely a skill you need if you're going to do well at these kind of events, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And also, as earlier that you understand that,
Yeah.
it's gonna be easier with the competitions
Yeah.
and with the pressure and
Mhm.
all the kind of things of the competition.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you have a handle of fitness regime then? And if so, what does it involve? Because you are quite a quick runner.
Well, let's say like for last years, I was not doing that much. Like let's say 5 years ago, I was just running agility. But it's true that after an injury, I get a bit more like focus on what I have to do,
Mm,
and I take a bit more sport. I give a bit more importance to the warm up, and I give more importance about how I feel,
mm,
and even going to the physio. That all of
yes,
my
yeah.
dogs are going to the physio, but I was not
Hmm.
even going to the physio. So
Yeah.
for sure, I'm taking a bit more importance about that,
Hmm.
and I'm also training with Kurt.
Oh, yeah.
Um, uh, Not right now because he's gonna get angry because I didn't make that much in this month.
Oh, no.
No, but I'm training with him and I love
Hmm.
his trainings
Hmm.
also, and he's really cool to put you up in agility.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's a really good point, what you said about everyone, takes their dogs to physio, does all the fitness with their dogs, but often none with themselves. But, we are 50% of that team. So really, we should be doing it for ourselves as well. And I think sometimes it does take, like you said, an injury, whether that's in or out of agility, to kind of make us realise, oh, I should probably concentrate a bit more on this.
Yeah, and it's also, even if it's not that important for you or that you don't think that much about it, you have to think about your dog also because
Mm,
your dog has not that many years that you have to compete. And
mm,
if you lose 1 year because you make like some stupid thing because you didn't warm up or because you are not in a perfect condition,
yeah.
then you're losing your dog's years also.
Mm,
Even they don't give that much importance, but I give that much importance for them. So
yeah.
I always try to be the best for them also.
And it just makes it so much more enjoyable, doesn't it, when we feel fit and healthy running? Because we can train our dogs to do distance handling, stuff like that on their own. But still, the least out of breath we can be, the better experience it's also going to be at the end of the day, even if it
Yeah, for
doesn't
sure.
affect the dog as much as some people might think.
Yeah, for sure. And also even the agility trainings, like I always took my agility training like it will be the run of the world champ. So I
Hmm.
always try to give everything in every run or
Yeah.
everything I do.
Hmm.
So that's something it helps you to keep fit even with that.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Was it an agility injury you had then? Was it from running agility that you got injured or something else?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I was running in a seminar with Thomas, and um, I just even didn't warm up, and I was just running
Okay.
like crazy, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
I got injured.
Yeah. Lesson learned, I suppose. We've all been
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So how
And just
free?
before one of the important events here in Spain,
Oh
so yeah, it was
no.
a bit hard that injury.
Always works that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So how frequently do you train your dogs then in any given week? So obviously this is going to change with rest week, stuff like that. But generally over the year, what kind of training do you do throughout the week?
Yeah, I love to train 2 days a week,
Mhm.
and sometimes, like for example, for tryouts, I
Mhm.
try to do two when I don't have anything on the week, and
Mhm.
three when I'm not having anything on the week. So that's how I make it. But I also train every day
Mm.
because as I have different dogs,
Yes,
and
that's
that's
it.
something that I love
Mm.
because it's not something easy when you don't have that much time, but when
Mm.
you have time, it's super cool because you can come one day, train with two dogs, and then come the next day and come and train with the other two.
Yeah.
And you let them rest as much as they need. And I can train almost every day if I can,
Mm.
and I love it. So
Yeah.
that's something I do.
So for one dog then, how much in a week do you train with each dog kind of thing? So how much is one
Yeah,
dog
I
getting?
think. And I think it also depends about the dog. Like for example,
Mm.
Killer, that he's now 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's training 1 day a week.
Oh,
He
right.
doesn't
Okay. Yeah.
need more than that.
Yeah.
And for example, with Mamba, I'm doing almost even 3 sessions a week.
Yeah.
So Mamba is my new intermediate dog. She's
Mm.
3 years old and she's competing at level 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's her first tryouts, and she needs a bit more experience because
Yeah.
I didn't put that much training before.
Mm.
So now I need to train a bit more, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. I suppose the seasoned dogs that have done it for many years, they've got all their skills. They don't need. It's more just maintenance, isn't it?
Yeah, and they need to maintain some like skills like CISO, or
Yeah.
but they are not gonna like learn that much at that
No. Yeah.
age.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about like helping them where where their weakness, and let them be more free, that they
Mm.
can understand that they can keep running, because that's
Yeah.
something hard for the when they get a bit more old.
Mm.
Because I think it happens in every sport, like even in the motorbikes. You can see like the young guys that they are a bit crazy and they
Yeah.
are going as fast as they can.
Mm-hmm.
But after you had injuries, after you had like some crash or whatever, then they went a bit more like slow. But of
Yeah.
course, they have more experience and they probably don't make that crazy lines or whatever. So
Mm.
you have to like to balance that also.
Yeah, true. But it's good that you get to train so much in a week, because I bet, that gets your handling in a better place as well without overdoing the dogs, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, and when
Mm.
I'm not training my dogs, I always took my students' dogs and I
Yeah,
train. So
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
fine
it's
like that.
constant, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the best way. Cool. So, how do you go into an important run in the same way that you do a normal run, even when the outcome means more to you in that important run? So, I find that if I can go into every single run with the same mindset, I'll do better. Whereas, say, if I'm going into the EO final feeling more nervous than a normal run, I'd do worse. So, how have you kind of got around that?
And I think it has to be even the opposite. Also, like in the normal runs of the normal competitions,
Yeah.
I try to take it like something important. So
Okay,
you
yeah.
also has like this mindset for everything you do. Of course, you cannot like give that much importance, but I try to make it. So and also I have like my routines.
Mm-hmm.
So I always have to do it like with the same color, and I have to do it with the same leash, and I have to do the same warm up,
Yeah.
and it has to be like the same as I do in normal competitions.
Mm.
So I try like to feel the same in the world champs like I do in my training.
Yes, yeah.
So I think these kind of routines also help you,
Yeah.
and you can see it even in all the sports, um, all the competitors that have routines that help you like to feel in the same position,
Mm.
um, in the same place like you're doing in training. So that's
Mm.
something it helps also.
Yeah, I suppose if you go into every training session in a just a relaxed way, then you're never going to get the practice doing it under any kind of pressure, are you? So I think how you approach your training makes a big difference as well.
And I think it's also about how you take it, because
Mm.
for example, my wife, she doesn't give that much importance on training, for example, but
Mm.
then when she goes to competitions, you could see like she has something special in
Yeah.
competitions. So it depends also about how you are. Like
True.
I
Yeah.
try to take everything important, and I try like to make everything like that, but she has a bit the opposite. So I think
Mm.
you have to also find what it really um, what it really gives results to you. So
Mm.
you have to try. I don't think it is something like, okay, take it like that and it's gonna work. You
Yeah.
have to try to get like the best pieces of it, and
Mm.
after that make your own routines and um, all your own system of competition.
Mm. And the routines as well, it helps us, but it also helps the dog because they think, we're doing this, so it means we're about to do agility, if that makes sense. So it's
Yeah,
that predictability, isn't it, for both of you? Kind of, it feels familiar.
yeah, for sure.
Mm.
And it's also almost impossible to train that kind of like situations. Like
Mm.
you have to do everything in the last round of the world champs. It's something like you could see like even the best competitors in the world, and you could see the dog that change something that
Yeah.
they never do. So it's something hard to train, uh, but also the dogs needs these kind of routines, like to help them to get a bit more with the same feelings.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, what is the most common mistake you see handlers making with their dogs when you're teaching or judging them? Then, is there anything specific?
Yeah, I think there's two really common that I will think. The first one, and I think that's the probably the most common. It's the one that uh, that they made the coursework in a wrong situation.
Okay, yeah.
Like they probably because they don't understand their dog. I
Yes.
think probably that's one of the things that I'm see more in when I'm teaching and
Yeah.
even when I'm judging.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say like okay, I could see the dog and I say okay, that's not a good a good coursework for that kind of dog, and then it
Yeah.
happens.
Okay.
And also probably the movement. I think that's something like really really important. Even you train like really good verbal commands and everything. I think the body is telling so much inside the course.
Yeah.
And I think the most common inside the course will be that your body is not telling the same as the verbal command.
Yeah. I see a lot of that as well, to be fair. What do you think the dogs listen to most out of the two, the body or the verbals?
Uh, for me, for sure, the body.
Yeah, me
But
too.
as as good as you're as much as you're good on training verbal commands, probably they can be better. But for me, the body for sure.
Yeah, I found the same. Sometimes I think I could say anything to my dog, and as long as I was pointing and showing, then he'd just do it. If that makes sense. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
sure.
balance
Yeah,
between the two, isn't it? Again, you've got to kind of try and nail both, not one or the other.
yeah, for sure.
And the course walking as well. That first point of the course walking, that is super important. And often, I think one of the biggest mistakes I see people do is walk the course and then change their mind, and then run it
Yeah,
in the way they haven't walked it, and then it usually goes wrong. And that's usually through watching other people before they run. And I've learnt that the hard way myself as well.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even harder for me when I'm running like different dogs. So
Yeah.
that's something like you have to learn. And of course, it can be like one situation that you see. Okay, I didn't have that in mind when I saw the course, and that all dogs are doing the same. Okay, then you can think about that, but not try to not put that much effort. Like, okay, I need to change this. And if not, it's the course is not going to work. Like,
Yeah.
because I had so many situations that people is doing this, and then I do exactly the opposite, and it's working for me.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much about what they are doing or what the other dogs are doing.
Yeah. You have to trust your own, knowledge of your dog, don't you, when you're walking the course? It's hard when you're surrounded by like 20, 30 other people, but
Yeah, for sure.
got to be individual. So, what is the biggest challenge you personally have faced in your agility career then, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I think the hardest was this year in the World Champs, because yeah, we won the world agility championship in teams with intermediate.
Yeah.
Then the large won it also, and then we went for medium, and we were first also in the first run, and I had to run the last one, and I think all that pressure, like okay, we won with the intermediate, we won with the large. Everyone was like crazy, like okay, Spain is doing like awesome, and
Yeah.
it was like a must. It was not like okay, I can do it. It was like okay, I must do it
Yeah.
because I feel that, and
Yeah.
probably was the hardest one that I had, and also because I had to finish the course. I think it didn't matter about if I had one or two faults, and I had one. And at the same time, in that run, Killer, that he never drops a bar, he slept, and he dropped one bar. And after he slept, I lost a bit the timing, so that was probably the hardest. Like to okay, I need to like get calm even as much as I'm nervous I was there.
Yeah.
And that was hard, like to okay, I need to calm down, try to get him in a good position, but he was helping me so much also. So
Yeah.
yeah, we did it, but
Yeah.
that was hard. Like
Yeah. That's really tough
that
as
night,
well.
thinking about that I had to do it, and
Yeah.
everyone saying like, okay, next day you have to do it.
Yeah.
That was a bit hard.
That's interesting as well, because I think, like you said about the fact that you'd won intermediate and large, and then you kind of thought everyone was thinking, oh, could they do it for medium as well? I think sometimes that's worse, isn't it? Like I've thought before, the more kind of success you've got behind you, the more pressure you feel to replicate that again in the future. Sometimes.
Yeah, and also because I didn't had that before. Like, well, Spain didn't have that before. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we won the intermediate and large, and after that you had to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I think the years before it was like, okay, we won 1 year large, and we were second in small, and we won large again. But it was like once,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
like something like, okay, you did it like something. Let's say strange that you never do it, but this time it was like, okay, it's not something strange, you have to do it now because
Yeah.
they did it before and I did it before, so
Yeah.
that was probably the hardest.
Yeah, and running last as well on the last event. Yeah, you can't really get harder than that, can you?
Yeah, it was hard,
Yeah,
but it was
that's
good. I had a really good feeling all that weekend, so
yeah. The adrenaline must have been insane before that.
yeah.
Definitely. Cool. So, if you had to get another dog for agility right now, what breed would you get, and then why is that?
Okay, right now I could take a border collie, and I think it's gonna be my next breed because I wanna compete again in large.
Okay.
But right now I'm competing with so many dogs, and I don't think it's my time. And right now I have a puppy, I have a walker, and that was something I was waiting so much because from we had our first walker, it was like 10 years ago, I think. I never had a walker. Carmen has two, and I always was thinking like, okay, I need to take one, but I didn't have like the opportunity or the timing or whatever, and now I have the walker, so that's something like really special for me right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, definitely.
But also I think my next one, it will be the border collie. But I want to say that I would love to have a Malinois. I think in some
Okay.
point, I don't think like, let's say like to be competitive,
Yeah.
but I think it could be a really good challenge for me.
Yeah, they are very cool, aren't they? Very full on, but when they get it right, they really get it right.
Yeah.
They're almost a bit scary to watch, aren't they? They're one of those dogs you hold your breath while they're running.
Yeah, yeah. Let's say I was running with a German Shepherd, like let's say some months ago in the Hungarian Championship, and that was really cool. And I had like some times with Malinois, and I love them. And
Yeah.
I love these kind of like powerful dogs that,
Yeah.
that like really push you, and I love that.
Yeah, and a challenge to train as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, have you ever worked with an anxious agility dog then? And if so, how did you bring out the best in them? So, maybe a dog that was scared of an agility environment or didn't want to work. How did you work around that?
Yeah, I think. Well, I had that from the very first day. My first agility dog after the boxer.
Yeah.
It was a mix of collie and border collie, and I had I had 20 days to touch him because they gave it to me, and he was super scared of everything, so I couldn't touch him like for 20 days. He was in my house, and every time I was going close, he didn't want even to come to me. And even I remember like he was in the corner, and I didn't want to get there just to touch him because he will be like super scared.
Yeah.
So that was probably my very first feeling about a scared dog, and I think that's a really good challenge and a really good learning how to manage it, and I love like the results after, because even he was not like the fastest dog, he could do agility, he could like get the hard environments for him, and it was hard even for him like to go with people and everything, and that feeling was really really good. But right now I don't have that much. With my dogs, I think all of them, they work like pretty good in almost everything, but it could be like little things. I think right now it's not that big like
Yeah.
that dog that I had, but let's say, for example, Adrenalina, um, she has some problems with when she's in season.
Okay. Yeah.
So you have to really understand it and really like help her. And I think, like, for example, the first time I didn't understand why she was not slow, she was disconnected, like she was making things that she's never doing.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was a bit hard for me to understand that, but after you understand that you need to help her a bit more, and that she needs a bit more like um, confidence, and you are the one to have to give them. So I think that's one of the most important things, that you understand why the dog is doing that, and then you can help them like with giving confidence, or with giving them a bit more like um, time to understand something, or even with an anxious dog that they need to like calm down a bit when they are training. So it depends about the dog, but yeah, of course I had things like that.
Yeah, that's interesting though. Like as well, people I think don't realize sometimes that an anxious dog can display their nervousness through other things that aren't just going slow. Like you said, still running fast but not listening or being
Yeah,
disconnected. It's kind of that also means they're not feeling comfortable, but it's
yeah,
not
for
always
sure.
just running slowly, if that makes sense. So again, like you
Yeah.
said, it's about understanding that particular dog and what means they're anxious and why.
Yeah, and also you have to see that the dog is making something different that she's never doing. It doesn't matter if it's like about the environment, or if it's about like uh, that she's not used to the surface, or you have to really understand what is happening, and after that try like to help them. And I think that's how you will be the best handler for them.
Yeah, and they're the kind of dogs that make us better handlers and trainers, really, aren't they? Because we have to figure stuff out more.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So, what direction do you think agility is going in, and where do you see it in 5 years' time? Because, like we said at the start, it must have changed so dramatically since you first started.
Yeah, true. Uh, let's say it's super hard to say where agility will be in 5 years, because in 5 years everything changed like so much. I
Yeah,
remember like when we started, that it was like, let's say, everything handling,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that we never let the dog to do something alone, and we were controlling everything. And I
yeah,
think that changed so much in the direction to be a bit um, even not handling, that everything was just independence, and
yeah.
just sending. And I think the course is changed about like that direction, but I think nowadays it's changing a bit back. Like, let's say, know about distances. I think the
Yes.
distances and the courses are getting a bit more like fluid, but also in my courses I think I'm changing a bit more, like going back to handling, to place some pieces where you really have to see the handler,
Yeah.
that it's not about like skills, or it's not about like voice commands, or it's not about like independence, that there has to be the handler to help the dog.
Yeah.
So I think it's changing a bit that direction now.
Mm,
And I think the best part will be like a balance of both
yeah.
sides.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say that they think maybe it'll start going slightly back in the direction it was before. Because really, it can't get much faster, can it, than it is right now? Because it would
Yeah.
be dangerous, and
Let,
there's only so fast that us and dogs can run. So I feel like it's pretty much reached its speed capacity. So yeah, we
and
may start seeing more handling and more tricky bits maybe come into it.
yeah, I think it's, let's say, it's not the word to say we are going back. It's more about like developing the sport, and I think it has to be a bit that direction, like
Yeah.
that we have to work a bit more with the dogs, and it's not only about like running as much as you can.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you said, there's only so fast that we can physically go, isn't
Yeah,
there?
true.
And to be fair, I suppose, AWC is already more like that, isn't it, than say EO and WO. So it hasn't completely gone away. all the events are different. But yeah, I think, maybe more skilly bits and a bit less speed might come in the next 5 years. But who knows? That's the fun of it. We don't know, do we? Yeah. It'd be boring if we knew what was coming.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, amazing. So the last question then, a bit more personal, is what are your current personal goals within agility?
Well, I think my dream, it's always there. It's like to win the world champs in individual.
Yeah.
And I did, I think, so many things that it's going closer. And I think it's gonna happen. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I really think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna happen if I'm thinking that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
that's probably my the. But I think I have so many goals in agility right now. Like I have my only online courses that I'm doing now, that I'm super happy. How is it going?
Yeah.
And I have all my students that everyone that is close to me knows that that it's something I love to see my students going up. And I have my club also with almost 100 dogs going, and I have so many goals in agility, and also like give to the sport a bit more like power, and give to the sport a bit more visual, that more people is coming to our sport, that it's like I think it's something you can't compare with anything. So I have so many goals right now.
But that main personal goal is to win individual AWC. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, you're right. It's not just agility goals aren't just competitive, are they? Always. It's like you said, judging goals, teaching goals, goals for students, stuff like that. So a balance of all the different aspects.
Yeah, for sure. And that's probably what it gives you the energy and to keep going. So if you have like goals in everything, and of course like you have to have like small goals, not only like big goals, because it can like frustrate you. So if you have like these small goals to keep going, it helps you to take a bit more power.
Yeah, because all the small goals actually end up leading to the big goals, don't they? So it's important to have those for sure. Amazing. So that is all of the questions. Thank you ever so much. That was really interesting.
Thank you very much, and thank you to choose me for your podcast.
No worries at all. Wasn't that just the coolest conversation? Thank you again so much, Pau, for hopping on the podcast with me today. I learnt a lot and I'm feeling very inspired off the back of that conversation. Thank you guys for sending in all your questions for Pau as well. I love it when you guys send in questions for my guests. It always makes for a really, really cool episode. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Don't forget, if you enjoyed today's episode, please do leave the podcast a 5-star rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That would mean the absolute world to me. Also, make sure you're following the podcast on whatever podcast streaming platform you choose. Then you don't miss any future guest episodes. I have another amazing guest episode coming next week for you guys. So make sure you're following so you do not miss that. Also, please do keep sending in your podcast topic requests and recommendations. If you send one in, you are pretty much guaranteed to get it turned into an episode because I'm just that kind to you guys. So please let me know what you would like me to talk about in both solo episodes and also guests you would like me to have on in the future, and what topics you would like me to speak about with said guests. That would be amazing. And yeah, I will turn it into an episode for you. So please don't be shy. Also, make sure you're following me on all the social media platforms at Pause in Pursuit or Summer Clark. That is where you can keep up with me and Arrow and what we're getting up to. And if you want to send me a DM about absolutely anything, if you've got any questions whatsoever for me, please do send me a DM on any of those social media platforms, mainly Instagram and Facebook I am on. I would love to chat to you guys. And finally, I also do offer in-person agility training in Lincoln, LN6 postcode. I offer both group classes and one-to-one lessons. So if you'd like me to help you guys reach your agility goals this season and get you ready for the season ahead, maybe you want to qualify for something important during the season. If you've got any goals, I would love to help you guys reach them. So again, please just do reach out over DM and I can discuss what classes I offer, what spaces I've got for you guys left, and also if you would like a one-to-one lesson with me, then we can schedule that. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. But without further ado, I will let you guys get on with the rest of your week, and I will speak to you all next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another very exciting guest episode. Have a great week, guys. Bye.